Have any of you guys noticed that thrifting just doesn't feel the same anymore? Boy, I remember a time where I could walk into Goodwill, go through the racks, and find gold. Every single time I'd find at least something that I could bring home, tailor, and wear proudly. But now, as the years are rolling on, it's getting harder and harder to find good stuff. Today I'm going to go over 5 reasons why thrifting just isn't like it used to be. Now, there's a lot of reasons why thrifting isn't the way it used to be. It's not as easy to find good stuff. You have to look a little bit harder, and you have to look in different untraditional places than your typical Goodwill. So the first reason why thrifting just isn't the same is that a lot of the materials are cheap. A lot of the garments, a lot of the materials that you see in thrift stores nowadays are not things of high quality. And it's not just the clothing, it's every other item you see in the thrift store. I've been on TikTok and noticed that people are donating just the most random crap. In regards to classic menswear and the pieces that you can find while thrifting, a lot of manufacturers that make their clothing off the rack are using worse materials, worse construction, and it really shows in the thrift stores because you can't find good things in the thrift store if manufacturers aren't producing good quality things. We live in an age now where it's fast fashion. Everything's got to be fast, everything's got to be quick. And so that is reflected in the items that you typically see in thrift stores. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still some good items that are being manufactured and made, but most of the time, people that have good items, they either keep them or they go to different options like consignment stores or eBay to sell them when they no longer have value to them. Which kind of brings me to my next point, and that is that resellers are taking advantage of thrifting. I mean, look, there's a lot of good stuff that is thrifted, and if you know what to look for and you're finding those higher quality garments in thrift stores and you want to make a business out of it, you have the right to do so. And so you're seeing a lot of the times where people that resell things are starting to get stuff from the thrift stores and flip them. I know that that's a fact with the vintage audio equipment. I may be guilty, but it doesn't just go for clothes or vintage audio equipment. It goes for practically everything. If there's something good in the thrift store and a flipper sees it, they're going to be inclined to buy it. And I totally get it. The third reason why thrifting just isn't like it used to be is people know what they have. You know, everyone's on social media. Everyone has their phones. Everyone has, the internet and chat GPT and the ability to go online and see what they have and see what it's worth. So if you've got something and you're looking to get rid of it, the best option isn't always just dropping it off at Goodwill. Most people, if they have something good, they're going to keep it or they're going to try to find a way to make some money off of that item that they have. People want top dollar. I totally get it, and people know what they have. So keep that in mind when you're thrifting. The fourth reason why thrifting just isn't the same anymore on this list is going to be that thrift stores are starting to become more greedy and more profit driven. And look, I totally get it. Costs and expenses are rising for not only me as a custom clothier, but for big box businesses. And so I totally get it. But for the consumer, it's not as fun because, obviously we have to pay more. So big box thrift stores, especially places like Goodwill, are starting to price their items a lot higher, especially with some of their clothing. But here's the deal. It still comes in way cheaper than buying retail and buying new. So people notice the price increase, but it hasn't gotten to the point where it's super drastic where people can't afford to buy it. Depending on where you are, you might be seeing a little bit more of this or less of this, but the thrift stores are becoming a little bit more aware, especially of what they have, and they are pricing things more accordingly. And then number 5 is just demand in general. The price of everything is literally going up in this economy. And so people are starting to do more thrifting because it's always going to be less expensive than buying new, at least for now. So while it is getting harder and harder to find things at thrift stores for good prices and good quality, here are a few tips you can implement into your thrifting strategy to make sure that you have a better outcome. First, always hunt for quality over quantity. Go vintage. This is the way to do it. This jacket that I'm wearing here today, I got this from my local consignment store. Great fit and great price as well. I didn't even care what the brand of the jacket was. I just knew that when I felt this material and that it fit me, which brings me to my next point. If you're buying classic menswear, suits, jackets, sports, all that stuff, make sure it fits. The next thing you can do to kind of improve some of your outcome when thrifting is Try to shop at independent thrift stores or consignment stores and avoid some of the bigger thrifting retailers like Goodwill, because they are a little bit more stringent on what they're putting out, because they go through all the stuff before they get it. They check the value. Anything that they have that is of value or more expensive, usually it gets sold on their online store or shipped somewhere else, or just sold for more profit to somewhere else. So keep that in mind. Usually shopping at independent thrift stores, you're going to have a better outcome. Third thing you can do to have a better outcome when thrifting is to go online, because there are still a lot of great deals online, especially on eBay. eBay is, and I think always will be, the best place to find stuff. Facebook Marketplace, I've noticed, is also really good if you're shopping for men's clothing. If you're on a budget and you want to get more affordable items, that is also a great place to turn. And the last thing you could do, and it's something that I touched on before, but try to buy things that are a little bit more vintage, because they're going to be made with a better quality material, usually a better construction, and they've already lasted the test of time. And then the last thing you can do is, if you want to just totally avoid the struggle of finding great clothing, having to go to the thrift store, having to go through the racks of clothing and bins and all that kind of stuff, you could just order all your clothes custom from GentStyle. So guys, that's today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Just wanted to give you a few tips if you're still thrifting. I still like to get out and see what's there, just to keep a pulse on the market. And so I hope these tips you found helpful and informal. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did so, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And with that being said, I'm Robert, this is GentStyle, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay stylish.